What's going on, world? And welcome to Clearing the Wreckage Podcast. It's the voice and your host, Kareem A. Rashid. And once again, I don't know what you got going on. You could be getting on the toilet or you could be getting off the toilet. Hell, for all I know, you could be wiping your tushy. But all I know is that I'm ready, and so I hope that you're ready to clear the wreckage. Yes, indeed. What's going on, my wreckage clearers? What's going on, my peeps? I walked into the coffee shop. I walked up to the barista. I was like, hey, girl, you got my drink? She was like, yes, Kareem, I got it. Here you go. And I see you sitting there in anticipation and enthusiasm with a big smile on your face like, oh, there's Kareem. I can't wait to hear what he has to say to me this week. But before I come up to you, the barista grabs me. She says, hey, real quick, I just want to tell you something. I subscribe to your podcast because I really am starting to open my mind, and I enjoy what you're talking about. Man, your story is amazing. Oh, my gosh. The transformation process, the wreckage that you have been clearing. I've just been listening to you as I work and as I give out these drinks to my customers. I'm like, and I even tell them, hey, you should probably listen to that guy because, you know, all he's doing is just sharing his experience. He's not the type of person that's like, hey, I know what I'm talking about, listen to me. No, he's just sharing his experience, and that resonates with me. So I just wanted to tell you that, and I wanted to say thank you, Kareem. And I'm like, well, girl, you know what? I should be thanking you. I should be thanking you. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for just being inviting of what I have to say. And thank you for walking along with me on this journey. So as we continue this conversation about being open-minded, I want to come to you and tell you that, man, you cannot grow. You cannot grow if your mind stays closed. It's impossible. It is impossible for growth to happen in that way. And the funny thing about it is you probably think that you know everything. You probably think that you are the most mature adult on the face of this earth, and that everything that you do is the right way, and it is perfect, and everybody else is absurd, and they should not be here. Let me share a story with you. I'm going to share this story, and it's not going to be that long of a story. I'm just going to give you a couple of pieces of this story real quick. There were people in my life, not one person, but a few people that hinted to the fact that I probably should not marry her. Yep, back in 2017, I got married, and I got married to someone who has been in my life for years before that, and who left my life at times too, and you know that story because I have already shared it with you. But you know what? I did it anyway because my mind was not open to new ideas. It wasn't open to new perspectives. It wasn't open to anybody else's experience or wisdom because, mind you, I would like to share with you that at that time, before I married her, I talked to my sponsor, or AKA mentor. We'll use the term mentor for just for the world because, like, in recovery, we use the term sponsor. It just really simply means a mentor. My mentor at that time shared a story with me. When I told him, I didn't even ask him, I didn't ask for any advice. I told him, I'm going to marry this girl. I will be a year sober. And after that year, and when she gets out of this facility, I am going to marry her. And he said, well, let me share a story with you. And he shared a story of his life back in the day, 25 years ago, when he decided to marry some girl that he was chasing, that he loved, that he adored. But something, somewhere in the back of his mind was saying, you probably shouldn't, but he still went on ahead and did it. And people were telling him, hey, you probably shouldn't, but he still went on ahead and did it. Because you know why? His mind was closed. He was not open to anybody else's wisdom, nobody else's experiences, nobody else's ideas, nobody else's perspective. And plus, he loved her. And that was how I was. I knew it all. I knew what I was doing. Plus, I loved her. Right? That was my reason. And I'll dive more deeper, obviously, into that story with you as we converse into further episodes, of course, because this part of my journey actually helped me to learn to clear the wreckage, and also, what I did not know, produce so much growth and so much character. And I would not be here in front of you today talking to you at our coffee shop or talking to you on this podcast about my journey, and I won't be able to share it with you if I did not go through what I went through. To be able to share this experience with you and give you some insight in hopes that you can avoid what I went through, because I went through hell. I really did. And I do not want you to go through hell. I want you to experience heaven right now. And that is why I'm sharing this stuff with you. So anyway, let's just go ahead and say also that I'm thankful to the community of people, family, my support system that was there for me, that was around me at the time, that God placed around me. Because without community, family, and support, your mind will stay closed. If I didn't have that community, family, and support system that God put around me, let's just say that my little mind will still be closed. I'll still be in my own little world. Let's just say that isolation or being a loner keeps you only in your little world. Let's take the baby again, for example. Yep. I use this analogy simply because I thought like a baby. I thought like a baby. I thought like a child. In other words, my mind was closed, undeveloped, and immature. Yes. And some of you are still undeveloped and immature. And I'm just going to tell you like it is. I'm going to keep it a buck with you. I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. I'm here to keep it real with you. You're immature and you're undeveloped in your thinking. And I'm here to share my experience with you so that you can know that I also relate to you, because I at one time was undeveloped and immature and I had a closed mind. That's why I share my experience with you. Anyway, let's talk about the baby. The baby comes into this world not knowing nothing. The baby needs their parents, a.k.a. their community around them, right? And you've heard the term, you've heard it said, hey, it takes a village. Yes, it takes a village to raise kids, but it also applies in your adult life. You need people around you. You need support. Anyway, the baby cannot change their own diaper. The baby cannot use the toilet. The baby can't speak. The baby can't walk. The baby can barely use their tiny little hands. And the paradox about all of this, about the baby, is that their mind is completely empty and open for new ideas and new perspectives once they come into this world. But as they grow up a little bit, their mind closes. Just take your life, for example. When I talk about the baby, go back to your childhood. Go back to how it was like. And you soaked up things for a little bit, but after a while you're like, I know it. You remember the term terrible twos? I'm sure you've heard that term. Ask any parent about how did their kid behave when they were 2-year-old, when they were 2. They would tell you, oh yeah, that's terrible twos. Yep, because once that kid learns to walk, once that kid learns to grab and hold on to things, once that kid learns to speak, once that kid learns to use the potty, learns to pull up their own pull-ups or underwear, once that kid learns to say, no, once that kid learns to run, they think they know everything, right? And they feel entitled to receive anything that they want. Then as they grow a little bit more, they learn more, and as the more they learn, their mind closes. What's interesting about all of this, though, it's so interesting because simultaneously, they are still soaking up these new ideas and perspectives and teachings and watching and learning, but their mind is only learning the things that is part of their own little world. I, my friends, was in my own little world. Remember, do I have to repeat myself to you? All I knew was that this bottle relieves my irritation. Yep, that's all I knew. And some of you might even be like that. You might even reach for things that you know relieves your irritation. Or you might even be drawn to some behaviors and it becomes a repetitive cycle because it is, well, it's all you know. For you, it could be hopping from man to man. It could be hopping from woman to woman, relationship to relationship, because you desire that validation. Without them giving you that validation, you have no freaking idea who you are. Let's just get it where it is. Let's keep it a buck. That was me, by the way. That was me. You're not alone. And you're seeking approval and acceptance from them. That was me also. And if you're not receiving that from them, well, on to the next. It was good until it wasn't, right? Or it could be your attachment to material things, whether it be money, whether it be clothing, fashion, jewelry. It could even be the type of environment that you only know and feel comfortable because, wait, these people get me. Kareem, they get me. They're just like me. It could be a job that you stay at because, oh, wait, it's comfortable and it's all you know. It's the same position you've been in for 20 years, and you don't want to advance. You don't want to become a supervisor. You don't want to become a team leader. You don't want to become the manager. No, because they're probably going to send me to another store, to another state. I'm going to have to be by myself. I don't know. It's comfortable, and it is safe. So you're not looking to expand your horizons or learn something new? Nah, your mind is closed. It could also be an abusive relationship. But because it's all you know, you feel safe. Now explain that to me. Explain that to me. I'm explaining it to you. It's like, it's because you feel safe. That's why people on the outside who have never experienced an abusive relationship, they look at the person who has been abused and go, why don't you just leave? Well, they feel safe. That's why. And you feel that you cannot leave this person or set a boundary with them because if you do, well, the uncertainty right there, that's what you're facing. And then you begin to question yourself, well, should I leave them? No, I can't leave them. It's not right. And then you feel guilty. Or you do not want to be alone. See, a closed mind will only keep you stuck. You'll always continue to do the same thing over and over. Shall I repeat myself? I don't want to be on repeat for this episode. You already know the story. I was doing the same thing over and over and over again. I begin to hate myself for it. You may be doing the same thing over and over again, and you may be beginning to hate yourself for it. Or you may be beginning to be okay with it, like I became okay with it, comfortable. Why? Because it's safe. Again, it's all you know, right? And what you know is best, right? I am the end all, be all, Alpha, Omega. I am God. Yes. Just like baby, right? Just like that toddler said, no, throwing a temper tantrum, just like that little kid who learned how to take things or steal, or that little kid that thinks everything is theirs, screaming, mine, mine, mine. Taking charge, I'm in control. Babies act like this. not sharing anything with anyone, going to school only getting to know the kids that look like him, only the kids with the white pigmentation, only the kids with the darker colored pigmentation, only the kids with the light skin pigmentation. Oh no, don't let me start preaching up in here. Yes. A closed-minded person is just that. Closed. Everything is closed about you. The doors are shut. They are locked. The windows are locked. Everything. You can't come in here. Nothing can enter into here. Nothing. Nobody can't tell me nothing. I don't care about your story that you want to tell me 25 years ago about some girl that you were in love with, and you just probably, there was something saying that you knew, man, she might not be right for me, but you still did it anyway. I don't want to hear that. Because I know what I'm doing. Look, my situation is different from yours. It will turn out differently, right? My marriage will be peaches, creams, strawberries, unicorns, rainbows, white picket fence, happy kids running around all the time. A closed mind, folks. That is where I was in my life. I am sharing this with you. I am being honest with you. Yes. Just like the baby, the toy that they received from their parents. Maybe it's the first toy or maybe it's the second. I don't know. But it's some toy that is the favorite toy of that little child. They ain't playing with no other toy. No, I don't like those toys. They don't look like this one. Oh, no. Oh, they don't even fit in with this one. This is my favorite toy. It could be anything. The genre of music. We can go there. You won't listen to nothing else. Because this is the only genre of music that you know. And you don't like nothing else because I only know this. Yeah. So when it comes to me marrying her, that was me. And at that time for me, all I knew was that I could not see myself with anyone else except her. So yes, I'm going to marry her. No one is going to be able to stop me. There is nothing that is going to stop me. There is no force. There is no hellacious winds. There is nothing that is going to stop me from doing this. And so that's what I did. And also, I knew that she is the only one that will love me. Yep, her type of love is the only love that I know. Why was her type of love the only type of love that I know? See, I'm able to look back now as I cleared the wreckage on that to understand myself and know why I was biased to only this type of love. It was because of my childhood. I was used to abandonment. I was used to volatility. I was used to drama. I was used to trauma. I was used to I hate you, but I love you kind of love. I grew up seeing that. Remember, the baby soaks up, watches, learns. Not only that, it became the only thing that I knew, but not only that, even as I grew up and I started dating and having relationships, that is what I attracted. That type of love. Because that's the only love I know, and that love is safe. I'm telling you right now, you want safety. You prefer safety. In fact, your brain prefers safety. Your brain has been trying to keep you safe, and that is the job of your mind. If you don't know that, if you haven't heard that before, if nobody else ever told you, I'm telling you now. The job of your mind is to keep you safe. The brain cannot stand uncertainty. Nope. The brain is all about what it can only understand. If it can't understand it, that's uncertain. We don't want anything to do with that. Nope. That's what the brain does. Just want to give you that little that little piece of information. So it was due to my experiences, my childhood, the abandonment, and everything that I faced growing up, right? That gave me that sense of security in that type of love. I know it sounds really bad, but let's take the abusive person. Remember the example of the person that is being abused in an abusive relationship? If that is all they know, if they've been in every relationship and they've experienced abuse of some sort, emotional, psychological, verbal, physical, then that is what they become accustomed to, and it is comfortable and it is safe. And so for me, I was not open to any new ideas. Man, no one could come in and tell me anything. So these people who are around me, my family, my community, and my support system, they hinted. They hinted. They gave me a weird facial expression when I said I'm going to marry her. But they didn't tell me straight up. I think they wanted me to find out on my own. I think they wanted me to be an adult and open my mind a little bit to someone else's perspective and maybe weigh it and think about it and consider it. But instead, that wasn't me. I had a closed mind. In fact, the type of person that I was, I'm just going to share this with you, the type of person I was. Oh, man, thank God I've cleared the wreckage. I am not that person anymore. And thank you, God, that I am learning to clear the wreckage, that the wreckage is still being cleared. This is called clearing the wreckage. This is not called clear the wreckage. This is not called cleared wreckage. No. The wreckage will still be there throughout my whole journey, and I will have to continually, on a daily basis, hey, how can I clear the wreckage here? And that's what I'm sharing with you anyway. I totally lost my train of thought. Where I was. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. So I wasn't open to any new ideas. No one couldn't tell me anything. I was that type of person. Let me tell you, might I say again, how many people told me, hey, man, you should slow down, hinting to the fact that, hey, man, you might need to check, you might have a problem. I'm like, whatever. I also was that type of person. I was that type of kid, and I even became that type of adult, but I was immature in my thinking. I wasn't quite an adult in my thinking yet. You catch my drift? Because when people would share their experiences with me or kind of try to give me some advice about something, I would act like I'm listening to them, but I still will do what the hell I wanted to do. See, I had to learn about myself that my mind was so closed that whatever the hell Kareem wants, Kareem is going to do. However the heck Kareem thinks is right. Everyone else, you're wrong. You're wrong. And so what kind of helped me over the course of years clear the wreckage is just by realizing that every person on this earth has their own viewpoint about something. But I wonder, before I go there with you, are you that type of person? Nobody can't tell you nothing. Nobody can't give you a suggestion or just a little bit of piece of advice, maybe. Comment on something that you share and just make a comment. Does the comment rub you a wrong way so much that you get defensive about it? That's a closed mind. That's a closed mind. I wonder if you are that type of person. What if you're that type of person on social media? You get on social media, you post your viewpoint, and then if somebody comments, an opposite perspective, you want to tell them off and tell them that they are wrong and this and that. Why? Because you have an opinion? And because they have an opinion? And so what I had to learn was everyone has an opinion. And that's okay. Everybody has their own point of view. And that's okay. I'm not the end all be all, the alpha omega. I'm not God. I ain't make the rules. I didn't create them. They're able and allowed to think the way that they think. That is absolutely fine. That is what makes them unique as a person, as an individual. Right? So the way to kind of cultivate open-mindedness and become open-minded is you got to start kind of asking yourself these questions. Where did this viewpoint come about? Like, why do I have this viewpoint about something? Where did I get that from? Is it because my parents told me this over and over and over and over again, and so then it became my viewpoint? Where did my belief system come from? Is it something that my parents were doing all of their life and they impressed it upon me, and then I just became that person? I started doing what they were doing. I started well, they've been going to church all their life. They believe this. I believe it too. Are you that type of person? Do you know the derivative of your belief system is what I'm asking you basically. Do you know where it came from? I want you to take the time to ask yourself that question. Let's move on as you ponder that. But one of the things is that I had to learn is that a viewpoint is just a viewpoint. Only that. It is someone else's point of view. It's someone else's perception. It's someone else's perspective. It's someone else's idea. They have their own brain. That is truly amazing and awesome. That they have their own brain to think from. That's great. That's what I had to do. So that's a simple thing that you can do to start practicing open-mindedness, to start becoming open-minded. Realize that they are their own individual. Realize that they have their own brain on their head. They have their own mind. And that is perfect. That's what makes them perfectly imperfect in their own way, right? Anyway, so a perception, a viewpoint, a perspective is only thoughts. It's only your thoughts. That's all it is. Unless someone is presenting a fact, other than that, it's just a thought and it's just a theory. Facts have weight on them. Facts have weight on them. Facts are held up by weight, by reasoning, by explanations, right? By statistics. So anyway, with that being said, here's how we can begin together in togetherness, right? Of clearing the wreckage and cultivate open-mindedness together. And here is how I do it. So I'm going to share with you some of the tools that I use to kind of help myself become more open-minded, okay? And the example that I use a lot of the times to help myself is I have to realize that my brain or my mind, whatever, we're talking about the same thing, that thing on top of your head. We're talking about the same thing. Whether I say brain or mind, just know I'm talking about the same thing, okay? Already has existing files. It already has existing files. So think of it like a computer, and that's how I do it. I think of my brain as it is just like a computer. Oh my gosh, my brain and my computer are one and the same. We already have this hard drive with these existing files on it, right? So this hard drive has these existing files on it, and oh my gosh, it is what makes my computer unique. It is what makes my computer special. It is what makes my computer safe. It is what makes my computer comfortable, right? It kind of shapes and forms the identity of my computer. So my brain has the same thing going in it, has the same thing going on. It has this hard drive, this belief system, these biases, these things that kind of shaped my identity already in there, and it's safe. And anything that tries to come in there that goes ding, 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 uncertainty, I don't really want it. If it doesn't look similar to what's already in my brain, I kind of don't want to add that into my brain. So let's, again, as the computer does, the computer has the hard drive and has these existing files. And with these existing files, you're like, I have a category for each file, right? And if something doesn't, you're doing a search on your computer and you're like, that doesn't fit into the existing files. So therefore, let's just keep scrolling. Let's just keep doing some more searching. We're not going to add that into an existing file because it does not look the same. It does not present the same viewpoint that is already existing on my hard drive, already existing on those files. Okay? Does that make sense? So in other words, you have to kind of change the way you think. You have to kind of, like I did. I kind of had to, let me compare my brain to something. And I thought of, a computer. I have a computer. I have two computers. I have multiple computers. Okay. I got a bunch of hard drives on there. I got a bunch of files on there, right? I got a bunch of files. So, I really don't want to add anything new to it, especially if it doesn't fit into that category or that existing file. Catch my drift? But so changing the way you think in order to fit this new information in is how you begin to become a little bit open-minded. You got to kind of create a new file. You got to realize that there is plenty of space. Don't let me start preaching to you up in here. There is plenty of space for me to add more files to my computer. There's plenty of room in my brain to add new information inside of it. So that is what I begin to do to kind of cultivate becoming open-minded, right? And sometimes with this new information, right, that means that we must kind of, go back. We must do a self-reflection. Maybe you have to revisit the past, our memories. We may have to take some time to look inside so that the wreckage can begin to clear. We may have to just do that. We may have to look at our past. We may have to look at some memories. We may have to look at some of these behaviors, and we may have to go, oh, that's where I got that from. Oh, when I was just a kid, and they taught me this. Oh, yep, that's right. My parents taught me. Oh, my parents been preaching this down my throat all their life. Matter of fact, they've been saying this to other people too. Oh, that's a big bias. Oh, that's where that comes from. Oh, so I've been biased all my life because of this. Oh, I've been biased to this because of that. Right? You have to go back and revisit. You have to take the time to look inside so that the wreckage can begin to clear. And I want to talk about confirmation bias because it is one of the biggest contributors to closed-mindedness. Why? Because, as discussed previously, the analogy of the baby. You're only going off your existing beliefs and simultaneously discounting evidence that happens to challenge what you think. So basically, as the baby, the toddler, sees that toy, his favorite toy, his or her favorite toy that they've had the whole time, and mom and dad try to give them another toy, they take that toy and they throw it back at their mom and dad and be like, this doesn't look the same. This does not do what this toy does. I don't want it. Their existing belief on how that toy makes them feel, what that toy does, their experience. And you start to believe things due to your experience. Your experiences create belief. As I wrote in my book, Screw Your Perception, which will have almost probably a whole season just for my books and just for that book in particular. I don't know. I don't want to talk too much about the future right now. Let's stay right here in the present. However, like I was saying, and as I stated in that book, there's your perception, here's your viewpoint, then there's your interpretation of it, and then there's your understanding or interpretation, and then it becomes a belief, right? So your understanding or interpretation of it is because of something you possibly experienced. And so now you believe this to be true. And so to you, it becomes factual. And that, my friends, is confirmation bias. In other words, so let's take the computer. These existing files on your hard drive make your computer special, make your computer a safe and a comfortable place. You know where every single file is. You know what the file contains and the info that is in them. It makes up you. It makes who you are. It makes your computer. It makes your computer what it is. The identity of your computer. Mine. Remember that? So anything else that you come across, you will not add or create a new file or even delete those old ones, because this is what makes my computer special. This is what makes my computer the best. This is what makes my mind special. This is what makes me the best. This is what makes me know it all. This information that I have in here. Nobody else knows anything that I know. I'm very wise. I've studied this. I've learned that. I have a PhD in this. I know all about this subject. A closed mind is very subjective. An open mind is objective. Yes. So, again, safe and certain. Safe and certain. You know where every file is. And you know what that file contains. So why would you make it more difficult for yourself by adding something new to even an existing file, or changing it or replacing it? Why would you hit the delete button? Why would you take the info that you have in your brain and hit delete? Why would you do that? You're not going to do it because you're safe with the information that you have in your brain. The same routine that I have been doing for years works. The same church that I have been going to for years works. Oh, that's my home church. So you can't visit another church because you have a home church? Like, what? Who taught you this? Who taught you this? That's a closed mind. And it's only that way because your bias confirms it. Well, this church that my home church is, I love the pastor, or I love what they have to say. And the people, there will never be any people anywhere else like this. Nobody does church the way that we do church. Nobody follows the Bible the way that we follow the Bible. How do you know that? Have you been to another church? I'm getting on you now. Uh-huh. How do you even know? Have you explored anything new? I mean, we could take every religion. We could take the Muslim who has been stuck in their own religion and looking at other religions as not necessarily wrong, but no, my religion is the one. I know what I am doing. We could take the Jew. We could take the Hindu. We can't take the Buddhist because the Buddhist is pretty open-minded. The Buddhist is pretty open-minded, doggone it. Anyway, let's continue. I'm just saying, do you even question yourself? You know, for the Jew that has been going to Shabbat service every Friday, have they questioned, why do I do this? You know, for the Muslim that's praying 5 times, have they questioned, why do I do? The Christian that is going to the same church, have you questioned anything about why you're going to the same church? Have you actually explored anything new? So that's why I love my dad has such an open mind. I love how open-minded he has become over the years and how much he has just grown over the years. I adore it because my dad's mind is so wise because of the things that not only the things he experienced, but what he opened himself up to experience. And that is how you, my friends, become wise. You have to open yourself up to new ideas, to new things. But let's remember that it takes time to grow into this, okay? So I'm not sharing this so that, tomorrow I got to become open-minded. No, it takes time. So let's go through some simple steps of how you can become open-minded. You can practice active listening. You know, so when somebody else is talking to you, you can practice listening active. And active listening is being fully engaged, seeking to understand what that person is saying and understanding the context even of it and understanding where they are coming from. How did this person come up with this perspective? Also, active listening is asking questions. Asking questions to understand the why behind someone's beliefs or someone's actions. Seeking diverse perspectives. Challenging your own assumptions. Become curious. Curiosity. Become curious. Take that out your mind. Take that curiosity killed the cat thing out of your mind. The reason why they came up with that is because, yes, your brain wants certainty. Your brain prefers safety. So curiosity killed the cat because the cat wandered into something that they probably shouldn't have wandered into, because that's how cats are. But for the most part, curiosity will not kill you. Curiosity will just help you know a little bit more. So let's just use an example of a conversation that you may be having with somebody. Let's just use that as an example, okay? All right, so I'm having a conversation with somebody, we're talking, and then they share a viewpoint, and then you may disagree with that, okay? So your first instinct might be to go ahead and challenge that or shut down or dismiss it, who knows, instead of listening actively and even considering their perspective. Nope, you don't want to consider it, because from that point, when you have that first instinct, right, from that moment, you just want to prove that that other person is wrong before you even consider the other person's point of view. And this happens so often when you have a closed mind, particularly if you don't like what you heard or if you don't like that the computer, I can't place this new idea or information into any of the existing files, so there is no category for it. So this person is talking about this, but it does not make sense to me because, again, your viewpoint, your interpretation or understanding has led to a belief. So because it doesn't make sense to you, there's no category for it. So let's go back to me when it came to me marrying the young lady that I married. Okay, so I have categories over here: abandonment, volatility. I have these categories. Oh, that looks the same. Boom, I hate you, but I love you category. That looks the same, that foul. Let me add that one into the abandonment. When she left, let me add that one into the right. So you have existing categories already there in your brain. It's because of your experiences, but it's also because of your interpretation. Your interpretation. Remember that. And again, just like baby, this toy is the only toy that I love and play with. This toy seems to bring me joy. It's the only one that does because of my interpretation of this toy. Oh, because this toy looks like this, and that is why no other toy feeds me interest. I'm not interested in any other toy. So humility is required, my friends, for an open mind. The ego, let's just talk about that for a little bit. You know, if you have that you're right, I'm right, you're wrong mentality, it's not going to get you anywhere in life. You're just going to continue to have a closed mind. You're posting stuff on social media about Democrats because they don't view your point of view as a Republican, or vice versa. You're posting stuff on social media about Republicans because they don't view your viewpoint as a Democrat. I'm sorry, I think I just said the same thing over. And I'm probably saying that because that's a lot of posts out there. A lot of Democratic posts. You know, but vice versa. You know, if you're doing that, it doesn't matter what political party, whatever. And if you're not open to anybody else's ideas, anybody else's viewpoints, how somebody else thinks, you want to shun them and you want to write them off because they just happen to think differently than you, that, my friend, and I don't want to be the one to tell you, but I'm going to be the one to tell you, is a closed mind. And also, that is the way that the toddler acts. No. They say, no, and they throw a temper tantrum, and you know what the toddler also says? Mine. So I'm going to keep it real with you, and I'm going to tell you straight up, stop being a kid. It is time to become an adult. And in doing that, you can take these simple steps to become open-minded. You can deliberately expose yourself to different ideas, different people from different background. Oh no, who would have thought of that? No, I don't want to talk to them. They don't look the same as me. That's how the kids are. That's how kids are. They only hang out with their type of people. No, I can't read that book. Because that book is not my favorite genre. I only like fictional novels. I will never go over to nonfiction. Oh, well, this is the type of movies that I like, so I will never be in and watch a different type of movie. No. So forth and so on. We can continue this conversation at a later date because I'm not finna continue to go on and on about this. Your mind is closed if you're doing those things and you're not opening yourself up to new ideas, new experiences. So you can become curious. Like I said, ask questions. Do your best to understand other people's experiences without immediate judgment. Pause when agitated. Pause. If you feel like you're about to say something because you disagree with somebody, your first instinct is to react. Pause. And this one I'm still learning. I'm still learning how to clear the wreckage. Hey, I have not yet arrived. I have not received perfection. So this is what we're doing together. So let's do together and clear the wreckage together. And by learning to ask questions, why, right? Learning to practice empathy, trying to understand and appreciate other people's experiences, even the context behind their views. Let's listen to understand. We can focus on truly what someone is expressing without the immediate need to defend our own viewpoints. This is how we become more open-minded. We can think about and we can find reasons to support an opinion that is opposite of our own. We can read different books. We can play with different toys, kids. We can make friends with people that are from different backgrounds. Like I said, that increases our perspectives. That makes our world a little bit wider, right? And then the other thing we need to do is examine our own thinking, right? Be aware of your biases. Recognize that your biases affect how you interpret information, and it can lead to many, many stereotypes. I'll share a stereotype with you that I had about people on the street corner, and I already shared this with you probably before. People on the street corner holding a sign. I mean, when I used to see them, I'd be like, I'll never be like that. Oh, you're such a bum, get a job. I used to say all types of crazy things. I used to be like, they're on drugs, they're this and that. All these stereotypes, right? Until I became homeless. My mind, doggone it, became open. Oh, yes. Now, I talk to those people. I talk to them because I was once like them. I can walk up to one on the street and be like, hey, what's your name? And I can sit with them and ask them how their day's going. Talk to them. Ask them what they really need. Ask them how they got in the situation that they're in. I could actually have a conversation. Would you? I dare you. I got to the point where I started inviting people into my home. I invited them into my home. I fed them. Would you do this? Not with a closed mind. Not with a closed mind, you can't. So, becoming open-minded, recognize those biases, right? Try to adapt the growth mindset, which is what we're kind of talking about. You know what I'm saying? Understand that your abilities and opinions are not fixed. It's just a viewpoint. It can be changed. It can be changed, right? And make a conscious effort to avoid making those assumptions about people like I did. Please don't fall into the same traps that I did because my mind was closed. So anyway, those are some of the things that you can do. You can try new things. You can mix up your daily routine a little bit. You can mix it up. You can embrace the uncertainty. Embrace it. Be comfortable with not having all the answers. Accept that not everything is about wrong or right. Not everything is black and white. There may be some gray area, right? So with that being said, I ask you to share this podcast, with other people. Let them know about Clearing the Wreckage Podcast. You can follow me at Clearing the Wreckage Podcast on Instagram. And if you want to know anything about me, you just ask me a question. My mind is open enough to share with you anything that you ask me. And with that being said, man, tell people about Clearing the Wreckage Podcast, because if you don't tell people about it, then this podcast will never grow, okay? And I want to leave you with this quote from Bill Nye. You guys remember Bill Nye? Some of you are old enough to remember him. Bill Nye, the science guy. Bill Nye said, everyone you will ever meet knows something that you don't. Let that just sit with you until the next time we meet. Everyone you will ever meet, everyone you'll ever meet knows something that you don't. That's what Bill Nye said. And I will say this to you. I can learn from a freaking hawk. I can learn from a butterfly. I can learn from a baby. Yes. Is your mind open enough to think that way? Is your mind open enough to say, you know, I can learn from anything, from anyone? I hope so after this episode. Anyway, I love y'all. And as always, take some time to look inside so that the wreckage can begin to clear. Peace.